Welcome to the brand new Draymond Green Show YouTube channel. Hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our content. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Draymond Green Show. We haven't had an episode in a while, and that's on me. As some of you may have seen, I was away doing Inside the NBA, which also led to a pretty amazing interview. The inner child in me is still like ecstatic on a whole nother level with this interview that was done. Can't wait for you all to check it out. Was absolutely incredible, fun to do. Wanted to go at that interview with a little different twist than most interviews you may have seen with this person, or what you may have thought the conversation would have been. But it was a fun interview. I hope you all enjoy that when we drop it as much as I enjoyed it when it was happening. Absolutely incredible. And as always, in great interviews, I learned a ton, and that was amazing for me. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss that and some other things we may have coming down the pipeline during these playoffs. But let's get into it. Timberwolves absolutely annihilated the Denver Nuggets 115-70 and forces a Game 7 in Denver.
The NBA playoffs are heating up. Man, they have been so good. I know it's over, but Lakers-Nuggets may have been a 5-game series. It was great. Knicks, Sixers, amazing. Why don't you sign up for the DraftKings Sportsbook app? It takes 90 seconds. The official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you're in DraftKings, once you sign up, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Great proposition, right? $5, you get $150. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The code's Colin, C-O-L-I-N. It's me, C-O-L-I-N. Really quick, really easy. If you've never bet sports before, check it out. Really makes the games fun. The code is Colin. New customers get $150 in bonus bets by betting $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
And the game was pretty much dominated by a couple runs that the Timberwolves went on. Denver started off great. I think they went up 9-2, 11-2, something of that nature. And then from that point on, the Denver Nuggets went on a 22-0 run in the first quarter. And that kind of took control of the game. And I thought that was very interesting to see, because usually when you're going into a game like that, a Game 6 closeout game on the road, you expect the team that's facing the closeout to punch first. And I saw where Coach Malone said they punched first, second, third, and fourth, and I actually disagree. The Nuggets actually punched first with their first start, 9-2, 11-2, whatever it was. Because the goal is always, you want to make them take the first time out. And so the Nuggets did that. They made them take the first time out, and Minnesota came out poised, calm, and they fought back. And not only did they fight back, but once they cut the lead and they tied the game, you're like, all right, now let's see where it go from here, right? Like, Denver got to punch back. And then Minnesota punched again. And Minnesota punched again. And again. And again and again and again. And I thought that was very interesting, and it said a lot about the Minnesota Timberwolves, but not more than kind of already have learned. We've learned that Ant-Man is taking that step as a leader, as a vocal leader. And I know Mike Conley is a leader on that team. Mike Conley is the veteran leader of that team. No doubt. No questions asked. Mike Conley is the veteran leader. But Mike Conley is not the leader of that team. The leader of that team is Anthony Edwards. And it's interesting, as I've told you all, we've been in that situation before where when we were young guys and we first won our first championship, I was year 3, Clay year 4, Steph year 5. By no means were we the veteran leaders of that team, of the 2017 team, of the 2018 team. 2022 we were. But all those years prior, we weren't the veteran leaders of that team by any stretch of the imagination. But we were the leaders of that team, of those teams. And what we're watching is Ant-Man is 1,000,000% the leader of that team, and that team takes on his personality. And, that team doesn't take on Mike Conley's personality. The team takes on Anthony Edwards' personality. Now, I'm sure Anthony Edwards leans on Mike Conley a lot because what Anthony Edwards doesn't have is the experience. Anthony Edwards don't have, I've been down in a series and had to fight back. He don't have, I've seen this X amount of times. Mike Conley has that. So I'm sure Mike is giving Ant tidbits and like, yo, look for this and think about that. And that's incredible. You got to appreciate that because as a young leader that Ant-Man is and has become, you need some of that. You can't, it's hard to do it without that. You have to have someone that can give you that. And I've spoke about Ant-Man winning the media battle, winning the battles on the court. I've spoke about all of that. You saw last night, if you watch any other stuff after the game, Ant-Man's speech to Cat. And he tells Cat, all day we've been telling you, just make the right play. Make the right play. Swing the ball. If somebody does, swing the ball quick. Make the right play. He said, and I'm going to tell you, tonight, you made the right play every single time. Now, if you look at the look on Cat's face, you could take that one or two ways. You could take that as, like, why he talking to me like that? He trying to big bro me. Could take it as that. Or you can take that as the young fella is pumping confidence into these guys. And for a guy like Cat, who has not won anything in 8, 9 years, whatever he's been in the league, has not had a leader like that in 8 or 9 years that he's been in the league, outside of the 1 year with Jimmy Butler that went miserably for him. Being appreciated when it wasn't one of the best games of Cat's career by what people would say the standards are of a best game. Because what people would say the standards are is Cat has had 40 and 20. He's had this. He's done that. He's had 50. All of that. But what he did for that team yesterday, facing closeout, facing the elimination, the end of their season, what he did was he came out and set a tone. How did he set the tone? He set a tone when he first started guarding Joker at the beginning of the game. You saw right away that Joker was being guarded this time. He was being guarded this game. You saw right away that it wasn't going to be as easy as it was in Game 5 when he had Rudy on him. And, I was on TNT. I said then, like, yo, they got to go back to Cat guarding him. Like, Cat can guard him. Now, no, he's not going to shut him down. No. None of that. But he's going to make it tougher on him. And that's all you can ask, for him to make it tougher on Joker than it's been. So here's the thing. Joker can't really back Cat down. Cat is way stronger than Rudy. So Joker is trying to back him down. He can't really. So if you pay attention, anytime that he get Cat in a bad way, it's when they get Joker on the move. And they got him on the move, and now he gets Cat in a bad way. He gets some finishes, some and ones. Now, so if I'm Denver, my mindset has to be, with that matchup, a few things. One, as I said, we need to get him on the move more when he got Cat on him. Try to get Cat in some foul trouble because Cat will foul. So let's get him on the move. How about this? We sit here breaking down Cat having to stop Joker, who's a center, and the defensive player of the year is on your team, and he is center. Very interesting how the cookie crumbles. Wow. Unbelievable. It's like if Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year back then, which he did, and then they're like, but Jalen, you got to go guard Steph. But Marcus Smart's a point guard. Marcus Smart, you won Defensive Player of the Year. You got to guard Steph, right? Like, yeah. So that's an interesting little.
You can't help yourself, huh?
That's just a little interesting. You can't help. I'm a basketball fan, all right? Like, I'm a basketball fan, and I tell y'all all the time, I love the game within the game more than anything. When I'm watching these games, I'm watching the game within the game. And I can't help but notice, like, there's a center that won Defensive Player of the Year for the fourth time.
4 times.
For the fourth time. Tied with the likes of the great Hall of Fame Ben Wallace, the great Hall of Fame Dikembe Mutombo, ahead of the likes of the great David Robinson, the great Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, the great Dwight Howard. Like, ahead of the likes of those guys. And we had a center. And we asking Cat, go guard the center. And we got the reigning 4-time Defensive Player of the Year on our team. Now, for our loyal subscribers and listeners, we're always appreciative of you. I hope if there's one thing you've taken away from this podcast, it's to watch the games within the game. And if you've learned that, then you're sitting here just like me. You can't start to believe that the Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP matched up in the second round. And we saw years ago guards stop guarding guards. Like, we saw that years ago. We spoke about that. We haven't seen centers stop guarding centers. So we've reached new territory in the NBA. We should all clap it up. Because we're seeing a change in the NBA. We're now seeing centers not guard centers anymore. And if there was some validation of an award, the MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, for all the marbles, what we paid to see. Like, you pay to see the Defensive Player of the Year versus MVP. Sorry, guys, you can't get that. That, to me, is interesting in itself. But took me a little off topic. Let me get back to what I was talking about. But I can't help but think about that one. All right, so let's get back to that. So let's get Cat on the move. And also, another thing that I want to do if I'm Denver is I want to run some ball screens with Aaron Gordon and Joker. Aaron Gordon, when you come set this screen, I want you to set a screen like you're setting a screen for Jamal Murray. Set it and hold it. Make Cat have to really try to navigate that screen. What's going to happen is you're going to get a switch. Okay, now that we got our switch, now we work. Now we got the reigning Defensive Player of the Year on the reigning MVP. And that's the matchup we all pay to see. And that's the matchup, if you Denver, you pay to see. Because that's the matchup that's going to allow you to take advantage of the Minnesota Timberwolves defense. It ain't Nas Reed on Joker. It ain't Cat on Joker. Can Joker get off on them? Yes, but it's tougher. They're agile. They're mobile. They're active. They're pressed up. It's just a different thing. Everyone in the NBA has some way they don't like being guarded. I don't care how great that player is. They have something, some way that they don't like being guarded. And so Cat has length, Nas has length, but they're agile. Joker struggled more with that than what Rudy Gobert has. Just length, but not agile, not pressing up because he's not fast enough. And so I'm running a little more screen and roll with Aaron Gordon and Joker. Now, spoke about this also on TNT. When Aaron Gordon got into foul trouble in Game 5, it was the best thing that happened to the Denver Nuggets because it immediately made Joker's matchup Gobert. Gobert had to take Joker once AG got in foul trouble because they came in with a guard. Heaven on earth. Joker then proceeded to go for 40 and 13. Why? Because he had the matchup that favors him. So, another thing, if I'm the Denver Nuggets, what I've learned through these playoff series, that it ain't always your series. And Aaron Gordon has had some great games this series, a couple great games. But he's also had a couple that he didn't have much impact on the game at all. And those games, to me, were more due to the way Timberwolves were matching up, as opposed to more so what Aaron Gordon was doing. It's the way they were matching up that he was able to take advantage of. If you need to pull Aaron Gordon some to get that matchup, you do that because it sets a precedent. And by the way, they win this game and move on. You right back to Aaron Gordon. You need him. But it ain't always your night. Ain't always your series. He's brought you something in the series. He's actually won you a game or two in the series. But I'd keep an eye out on that if I'm Denver. When I'm running screen and roll, when Aaron Gordon is in and I'm running screen and roll with Aaron Gordon and Joker, involving Cat and Rudy Gobert in the screen and roll and how they're going to navigate and guard that, I'm making it a single side pick and roll. And I'm putting Jamal Murray on the back action. So now, Ant-Man, who's draped all over him, anywhere he moves, Ant-Man's draped all over him. No help responsibility. Draped all over Jamal Murray. Now I got Rudy Gobert guarding Joker coming downhill at him, which Joker cooked him on the floaters when he was getting downhill. With Aaron Gordon lobbing and Cat trying to navigate how to guard that. But there's no backside help because Ant-Man is not leaving Jamal Murray. If he does, now we got the swing. Now you got Ant-Man playing out of a closeout as opposed to Jamal Murray catch him and he draped all over him. Now you get Jamal Murray space to work. You put Ant-Man in a tough situation. You make Ant-Man have to wonder, or decide, am I helping or am I staying draped all over Jamal Murray? Let's make Ant-Man think a little bit on the defensive end. Just giving Jamal Murray the ball, Ant-Man is great at that. He's faster, he's stronger, he's bigger, he's more physical. He's great at that. So, if you're just going to give him the ball and let him bring the ball, that ain't going to work. So get him off the ball. Run Jamal Murray off some screens off the ball. Run some Jamal Murray running that way in the misdirection. Michael Porter Jr. come back this way for three. You got to loosen their defense up some because the defense that you saw in Game 6 was the defense that got you drug in Game 1 and 2. So you got to do some things to loosen it up. Raise everybody on the floor. Jamal Murray comes sprinting up the floor like he catching back cut. You got to loosen Ant-Man up some. Because right now, he just all over Jamal Murray. And there's no way to get him loose if he's just handling the ball, you set a screen, and through that. So you got to switch it up a little bit. You have to. Don't just let him see Jamal Murray with the ball or him over him. Nah, he got to see Jamal Murray in different spaces. You got to give Jamal Murray more of a chance. Because with him just against Ant-Man, that's not much of a chance. That's tough. Very tough. It's a tough matchup. Said it earlier in the series. Ant-Man going to have to guard Jamal Murray. It's no disrespect to Jaden McDaniels. Tough matchup for Jaden McDaniels. Ant-Man, different story. So, need to see a little bit more of that if I'm Denver. Another thing that I need to see if I'm Denver is defensively. Stop all the switching. They're switching every pick and roll. You got Jamal Murray battling with Rudy Gobert. You got Jamal Murray getting posted up by Nas Reed and Karl Anthony Towns, and like, that's cool. I know you ain't necessarily worried about them scoring, but you got Ant-Man hawking Jamal, and then you got him trying to battle with bigs. Where's his legs? Being snatched. So stop all the switching. Also, defensively, with all the switching, now you're trying to rebound all that, you weak. You need bigs on bigs. Keep bodies in front of bodies. Most guys on the Timberwolves team need angles to score. Keep bodies on bodies. So when the shot go up, we're in the position to box out. Get it and go. Now Rudy Gobert got to keep up. Now we got Cat on the move with Joker. But Joker in there rebounding, switching all the pick and rolls for what? It's not allowing Denver to set a tone defensively. So I think Denver need to go into coverage. Whatever coverage they feel the need to do. But the switching, I think it's making them weak. And these ain't no games to be weak in. It's for all the marbles. So I think defensively, they need to make that adjustment. Because I don't think they're going to set the tone they need to set going into a home game, 7 closeout, switching the pick and roll. It's not allowing your best guys to guard their best guys. It's not allowing you to rebound, your best rebounders to rebound with their best rebounders. So I think Denver got to go back to the basics. Play your coverages. Joker is the king of the kickball if they want to throw pocket passes. Play your coverage. The switching, I don't like it. Now you get mismatches. You got Jaden McDaniels going off for 21, taking advantage of all the switching and confusion on the defensive end. Keep bodies in front of bodies. Make them score on you. I think it gives Denver a lot better chance to win. So with that, we're going down to Game 7 in Denver, as we've said. And I think if Denver can make some of those adjustments, which I think they will, I'm taking Denver. And one of the main reasons I'm taking Denver, because these adjustments that I spoke of. So you always hear this stat. And the stat that you always hear is the pivotal Game 5. The winner of the pivotal Game 5 in a 2-2 series goes on to win the series 82% of the time. No one ever tells you why that's the case. I'm going to tell you why the winner of Game 5 normally goes on to win the series. The reason is, after Game 4, you're tied up 2-2. You then make adjustments going into Game 5. The adjustments that you make, the team that make the best adjustments usually win the game. Obviously, you got to have great players and they got to play. Yes. Team who makes the playoffs, a playoff series is made up of obviously great play by players and a bunch of adjustments by coaches. In a deep playoff series, you sweep somebody, you're probably better than them or whatever, and it ain't a million adjustments you had to make. But in a series like this, all these series that go long, it's a series, a game of adjustments. And so the adjustments that Denver made for Game 5, having Aaron Gordon handle the ball, blah, 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 won them the game. Minnesota made adjustments to that. Game 6, won them the game. Well, guess what? Now, the winner of Game 5 get to make the final adjustment. So, a lot of these coaching staffs aren't really capable of adjusting on the fly in the game like that. In part two, a lot of players aren't smart enough to make those adjustments on the fly like that. They need to see it on film and practice it and walk through it. And so a lot of teams don't necessarily have that luxury. Coaches may not have that luxury, but also Coaches need to go watch the film. They need to figure this out. They need to talk to their staff. They need to put these adjustments together. And then they come back the next game like, boom, this is what we got. Let's go. Well, now Denver get to make their adjustment to the 45-point blowout. Minnesota won't have time to make an adjustment. So essentially, you're going to need incredible play from Ant-Man, incredible play from Cat. Incredible play from Mike Conley. More so you're going to need players to carry you. Whereas opposed to Denver will get players to carry them, but they'll also have adjustments that they've gotten that they can hang their hat on, that they can bank on. And Minnesota won't have a game to adjust to those. And so normally, the winner of Game 5, 82% of the time, goes on to win the series because they get the final adjustment. So with Denver getting the final adjustment, I actually think them being able to put Minnesota's defense in some tough spots with great adjustments, I'm taking Denver in 7. Moving on to face Dallas. When is that? Tuesday or Wednesday in Denver. That's my prediction on that. That is why you see the 82%. That is why, and yet no one ever tells you why that's the case. There's a little tidbit for you. Tuck that under your hat. Keep that there. And moving on, Dallas and Thunder going into Game 6. So in every series, and I've said this to y'all before, in every series, you get to a point to where you're like, all right, we figured them out. We got it. Now we need to do X, Y, and Z in this series. We got them figured out. And I thought after Game 3, you could kind of see that Dallas had figured OKC out. And you go into Game 4, in a game in which Dallas should have won, and they gave it away at the end. Dallas comes out in Game 5, everybody like, oh, even Chuckster on the inside. Oh, OKC about to run Dallas out the gym after they just came back. They run them out the gym. Only thing is, and I said, nah, I got Dallas, and no chance OKC running them out the gym. And the reason being, is because when I saw Dallas lose that game in Game 4, it wasn't some huge adjustment that OKC made and you were like, okay, they just made this huge adjustment. How Dallas going to – no, Shai just hit some tough shots. They did the same thing they had been doing, guard, screen and roll. Shai hit tough shots over guys. Dallas couldn't hit nothing. Kyrie struggled. Luka struggled. They turned the ball over. They lost. But it wasn't anything special that OKC had done other than Shai being special. And so when I saw that and I know like, dang, they already kind of got this team figured out and there was nothing that team had done to win that game from a adjustment standpoint other than just Shai taking over the game. Dallas still got them figured out. And sure enough, Dallas showed that in Game 5. Said all that to say, I think Dallas shows the same thing in Game 6. We got them figured out. OKC's a young, scrappy team. They'll punch. Dallas will take the blow. Dallas will do their thing. OKC will have another punch. Dallas will take the blow. And then they're kind of on their way home from there. That's how I see this going. I thought it was amazing to see everybody talking about Luka complaining and this and that, and then Luka come out and puts it out publicly that I'm not complaining, and then Luka doesn't really say much of a word, much of anything to the referees, and then we see the Luka that we know. 30-plus point triple-double, carrying this team to a win. We're going to need more of the same of that Luka on Saturday in order to close this series out. I'm not one to sit here and be like, oh, he should never talk to the refs. Like, this is a passionate game. And when you know for certain someone got something wrong, you're going to say something about it. We're human beings. And so I'm not of that club of don't say anything. Now I'm going to say something. But All focus must be on the OKC Thunder, and Luka has shown that he's capable of doing that, and he will need to do that again. I also need to see a very, very, very aggressive Kyrie Irving in Game 6. Come close the game out, Kai. We know Kai is a master with the basketball, and I need to see that aggression from the gate. Get going from the gate. Don't try to wait till the second half to get it going, because last couple games, it ain't went that way. You know, Kai's been still doing a great job of diming and getting other people involved, but, like, let's get going from the gate. I think that's what Dallas need to see from Kai. Also, shout out to Jaden Hardy. Number getting called to start the game, or not start, but early in the game, he gets subbed in after not playing much in these playoffs. Come in, get a good bucket, but have some incredible lobs to Derek Lively, who led them in plus-minus, who had an incredible game, and I'd like to think his guards feeding him the way they were, Luka throwing him lobs, Kyrie throwing him lobs, Jaden Hardy come in throwing him lobs. That was great to see. That's the steps you want to see from the young fella. Now, you J. Kidd, he earned minutes. He came in, he showed you, I'm not afraid of this moment. I'm ready for the moment. I'm locked in defensively. I'm locked in offensively. Give me more time. Love to see it. Love to see young fellas taking that next step and growing. In a pivotal Game 5 on the road, he showed up like it's no problem. It's no problem. So now if you're Jaden Hardy, you got to come build on that. All right, now I'm coming in. I'm making no defensive mistakes. I'm not turning the ball over. I know I got my lob threat. I'm getting downhill. They got me in here because we need another scorer. Tim ain't been shooting great. Dante Exum ain't played great. Josh Green ain't shooting great. So we need more scoring. All right, we need another guy that can get downhill. Go ahead, Jaden Hardy. Go do that. So you know, you're getting downhill. They got you another score. I'm going to the cup. But if they help, I know I got my lob threat. Stay solid, young fella. It's great to see. Great to see young guys taking that next step. So shout out to Jaden Hardy. It's beautiful to see his number be called when it hadn't been called, and he ready. He was ready. He answered the bell. Helped those boys get that win in Game 5 and headed back to close out in Game 6. And as you heard from my prediction with the Denver Nuggets, at the end of it, I said we'll see them versus Dallas. I don't have Dallas going 7. I got Dallas closing this thing out on Saturday and moving on. In other news, Tim Legler says the Celtics season will be a failure without a championship. Do you agree or disagree? I normally disagree with shit like that. It'd be like hot take-ish and like, Tim Legler is absolutely correct on this one. Why is Tim Legler correct on this one, in my opinion? Because you got Jaylen Brown making $300+ million, soon to be Jason Tatum making $300+ million, Drew Holiday making $150 million, Kristaps Porzingis $100 million, Derek White $60 million, something like that. Number one, I'm still trying to figure out where all this money in Boston coming from too. But it's a failure. Like, you won 60+ games. You have built your team. You go out and get Drew Holiday. You go out and get Porzingis. You retooled, didn't rebuild. And the season went exactly how you thought and wanted it to go when you made those moves. Because the season went that way, you extend Drew Holiday because he's proven all that he needs to prove that you want to continue forward with him. So guess what? It's time to win, and it's time now. Jackson, what is it, five conference finals in how many years?
I think more than that, honestly. Yeah, something like that.
Exactly. Look at him, all happy. We don't care.
No, I agree with you. It's time to get over the hump.
Yeah, we don't care how many conference finals anymore.
I agree.
A finals appearance ain't good enough. You got to go win it all. You're supposed to. You got home court advantage. You did all. It's time. So I 1,000% agree with Tim Legler here. The Celtics got to win. Because if not, how long can you dabble into that second apron until it's too much? Just keep swinging and keep swinging? So, and it ain't converted yet, ain't got over the hump yet. Got to get over the hump. So, yes, Tim Legler, I agree. That is a fact. And we shall see what Boston does, but they most definitely got to win it this year. Before we get out of here, a lot of news been made about Bronny at the combine, measured at 6'1.5". Very impressive 6'7" wingspan, 40-inch vertical. Stock rising, played well. Listen, I think Bronny has a chance to be a very, very solid guard in the NBA. He shoot the ball well. He defends well, athletic, going to be able to pick up if he's a backup guard. Say he's a backup. Because everybody, this is a starter. The likelihood that you're a point guard and you're coming in as a starter, there's 30 starters. There's 60 to 80 backup and third point guards. So it's more likely that you're going to be a backup or a third point guard than you are a starter. Just surely off the numbers. So let's go backup because I know better than this guy's a starter. And I'm not saying that just for Bronny. I'm saying in general, it's hard to be a starting point guard in this league, a real starting point guard in this league. So I think Bronny does have the capabilities to be a very good backup point guard in this league. If you can take that to a starter, that's on the work that you come in and put in, right? That's on the improvements that you make, the things that you do to get better. I can't speak for that because I'm not the one that has to do the work. But nonetheless, I think he has more than enough attributes and tools and things about him that'll make him a good backup point guard at least. Backup point guards need to pick up full court. He's going to be able to do that with the best of them. Backup point guards need to be able to knock down shots. We know he can knock down a shot. Backup point guards need to be smart, not make mistakes. People complain that he played basketball too mistake-free. So again, at worst, we know he's probably going to be capable. It ain't got to be next year. By the way, y'all draft kids in the top 10 that ain't ready to play next year and then want to talk about Bronny who's not in anybody's top 10 and be like, he ain't ready to play next year. 45 of the 60 guys that you draft, 50 of the 60 guys that you draft ain't going to be ready to play next year. So the whole thing of trying to throw out there like, he ain't ready to play, look at him, he ain't ready now. Who is ready now coming out of college? A few guys. So let's stop with that nonsense. No, he's not ready right now. Guess what? 51 of the other 58 players, 59, whatever it is, because the people got their pick snatched, aren't going to be either. But what attributes do they have that we can look forward to building on? And Bronny has some of those. So it's great to see him go to the combine and perform well. His stock is rising. I think he'll go to some of these workouts and perform even better and continue to rise. And I think Bronny will have a very solid career as he continues to progress. But also know, it's going to take time to progress. This is the NBA. This is the NBA. It's the best basketball league in the world. It takes time. So that's a wrap from this episode of the Draymond Green Show. Tap in with y'all maybe this weekend, maybe next week. I'll let y'all know. But until then, that's a wrap. Peace.